Welcome back. Right now, lawmakers in Washington are working on ways to help hospitals and Americans during this coronavirus pandemic. Now, here to talk about what's being done in Washington is Congressman Lloyd Doggett. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Congressman, there's a need for testing capabilities, medical supplies, and economic aid for businesses and families at this time. Now, two big coronavirus-related measures have passed in Congress. What's in those that can help us out?
Well, thank you very much. I especially wanted to visit with you because I know amongst your diverse audience you have many Trump supporters. And I was alarmed when I got back after voting on that bill to Austin on Saturday to see these studies that suggested that only 40% of those people were worried about their family and only 30% would avoid a big crowd. I think maybe they were deceived by some of the claims that this was a Democratic hoax or that it was fake news. This is deadly serious, and I want all those supporters and everyone to know how serious it is. We have a shortage of test supplies. We should have begun testing like the South Koreans did a month ago. As of last Thursday, when I questioned the the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, they had done about as many tests since this began as South Korea does in a day. Even this afternoon, I was hearing from a local healthcare facility about the lack of those tests. It is not possible, even at this late point, and it won't be this week, for anyone who wants a test to get a test, as the president said. Our focus in the bill is first and foremost on free testing for everyone. We will get there eventually. The reason that we have all the shutdown here in Austin now of bars and restaurants that is so painful for everyone is that we haven't tested and we don't know how much of this virus is out there. So the idea is to prevent contact that might lead to more people developing this disease and getting us into the kind of situation we've had in Italy. Next week, we need to consider another bill that does more than the sick leave and the unemployment and the testing that are in the first bill, and that bill probably has to focus on economic stimulus because our economy is at risk here too.
Focusing more on our economy right now, President Trump hopes to send checks directly to Americans coming soon. What will that happen to help out with that bill that you guys are working on right now?
Yes. Well, I think those who may have thought this wasn't a big problem would take note today of President Trump presenting what is not a traditional Republican idea of mailing everyone a government check. I'm not sure if we will use that approach, but we need some way to get out help to the small businesses and to the small business workers and other workers that have been affected. A loss estimated at almost, I think it was $355 billion from the cancellation of South by alone. Now added to that is the shutting down of these facilities. So some mechanism to get help to those who need it the most and to continue to get, as you asked in your earlier question, the protective equipment, which is in short supply right here. If we have a real surge, we do not have all the medical protective equipment and all the ventilators that are necessary to treat everyone. And I was pleased the president did say today that he would use the Defense Production Act to order the production of some of these that we should have gotten a long time ago, but hopefully we'll have on the way by the time we need them.
Do you have an exact timeline? I mean, you mentioned that there's a lot of equipment missing at our hospitals at this time to help people out. How soon can we get that?
Well, it's uncertain and it's concerning. We have if someone were in a dire situation and we have new cases right now here and in our neighboring counties and needs treatment, we've got the protective gear and we've got the equipment to take care of them. What we're concerned about is a tremendous increase in that rate. And if we had a true worst-case scenario here, we would not have enough equipment to protect our healthcare workers and to care for all those in need. We need to really speed that up. We are far behind. We need to catch up with other countries. I hope President Trump will put action behind this whole new recognition, belated recognition, that we have a serious life-threatening problem.
And going back to those small business owners and people out of jobs right now, there are so many here in Austin, where can they turn to get some help?
Well, the Small Business Administration, under the bill that we approve, can provide disaster loans very much as if we'd been hit by a hurricane like Houston was with Hurricane Harvey. Those are low interest, long-term loans that can help them, but I think we're going to need more help than that. I also want people to know that while we're trying to follow good advice and protect our employees, that my offices here in Austin, in San Antonio, and Washington are open. We had someone just call and say, where can I get my check? We're not quite to that point, but I hope that we will have legislation that does provide direct assistance to those who've lost their jobs, who need help, and that we sustain these small businesses, which are the lifeblood of our economy.
All right, well, we are out of time. Congressman Doggett, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks.